So the time bank is space being held for people that have skills and services, and we believe everybody has skills and services that bring value to the community. And it's a place where they get to connect and, bank time credits and spend time credits around skills and services that everybody can value equally.
And greetings, everyone, and welcome to Buzz for Good, where we talk all things nonprofit, the people they serve, and the good they do. And today, we are often told that time is money. And in our economy, we value some people's time more than others. Try paying an attorney or a pro athlete the same as you pay your teacher or artist. But in the New River Valley of Virginia, there is a nonprofit that values everyone's time equally, regardless of their skills or education or expertise, as a way of building community and fostering human connection. So it takes Mr. Smith an hour to chop up a tree. Well, he gets an hour of social media training from Ms. Franklin, who gets an hour of quilting instruction from Ms. Frost, who gets an hour-long bourbon tasting from Mr. Wilson. How and why does all this work? On today's show, I am providing some time to my good friend Lisa Garcia with the New River Valley, or NRV, TimeBank. But first, I am Michael Hemphill, creator and host of this radio show, as well as the TV show Buzz that airs every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. on Blue Ridge PBS. There's also available on our YouTube channel at Buzz for Good. Our newest episode of our TV show stars the Salem Area Ecumenical Ministries. And we are hosting a watch party March 14th at the Grandin Theater in historic Roanoke, Virginia. At the end of today's show, I'm going to play some excerpts from that episode, and I hope you will be inspired to join us at our free watch party at the Grandin Theater on March 14th. Just go to buzzforgood.com. That's buzz, B-U-Z-Z, 4good.com. Also, stay connected with us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, all at Buzz for Good. I want to take a moment to thank our sponsors, the Roanoke Cultural Endowment, Friendship, a senior living retirement community for the Roanoke Valley, friendship.us, Partners in Financial Planning, a Southwest Virginia-based financial management firm, partnersinfinancialplanning.com, and our newest sponsor, First Bank and Trust, headquartered in Southwest Virginia, providing individuals and businesses with an exceptional suite of tools, resources, and solutions to navigate financial life. firstbank.com. And speaking of sponsors, before Buzz, I buzzed as marketing director for Roanoke Catholic School, where one of my annual highlights was promoting the Shamrock Hill Run. Well, I am thrilled the school is bringing it back this year on March the 16th, and I am honored that Buzz can be a sponsor. And here's a message from another race sponsor, Dr. Misty Link of Link Orthodontics.
Hi, I'm Dr. Misty Link, a dedicated Roanoke Catholic mom and Roanoke Valley orthodontist, and a proud sponsor of the Shamrock Hill Run. Get a lucky start to your St. Patrick's Day weekend with our 5K and 1 mile race on Saturday, March 16th at 9 a.m. Just $20 to register by March 4th, $25 after. Register at roanokecatholic.com/shamrockhill.
And now it is time for more about the nonprofit New River Valley TimeBank with my good friend, Lisa Garcia. Lisa, what is the coolest experience that you have seen thus far offered on the New River Valley TimeBank?
Oh, offered or actually executed?
Let's do both.
Okay. So executed, the one that comes to mind is we had a major windstorm in the region and a huge tree fell across somebody's driveway, and they live in a rural area. And if you had to pay for that service to remove the tree, probably would have cost between $700 and $1,000. But the family put a request out on the TimeBank and said, hey, we can't get out of our home. We can't get out of our driveways. Anybody got a chainsaw can help us. And immediately somebody showed up with a chainsaw, cut up the tree, moved it, all for a few time credits.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, you know, I have a husband who has chainsaw will travel, and another time banker, faculty member at Virginia Tech, had a tree fall at her home and took down a fence. And my husband's not really officially a time bank member, but he's like, we got to go over there. And so while she was out of town, we went over, cut things up, cleared the wood, fixed the fence, and we would not have known her or become friends if it weren't for the time bank.
And how did you get, I guess, paid in return?
So the way the time bank works, or time banking, and I'm learning more and more about the history of this, it's basically what falls under the heading of an alternative economy. Mm-hmm. And people exchange skills and services for time credits. So they then bank time credits. So those two examples I gave, however many hours it takes, one person pays the other person with time credits, and they can bank those inside our software. Mm-hmm. This artificial market, so to speak. So I have banked 50 time credits right now for various things that I have done for the time bank or for other time bank members. And I can spend those time credits, or in some cases, in some places they're called time dollars. I can spend those time credits with anybody in the time bank. So that's how a person is paid. And then they, unlike a bartering system, like it's not just between those two people, it encourages you to do exchanges of skills and services with anybody in the membership.
All right, well, let's rewind a little bit and introduce you properly here. So I'm joined here on Buzz for Good by Lisa Garcia, who is an original community advisor of the New River Valley Time Bank in the New River Valley of Virginia, and currently a part-time employee who is helping with community development of the time bank. And Lisa and I go way back. We started out working together as reporters at the Roanoke Times in the late 90s. And then through the years, you have become like this entrepreneurial guru for companies, not only locally, but throughout the world. And how cool is it that you're now kind of devoting those skills to entrepreneurs, but like in a completely different space. So this is wonderful. And when you were telling me about this New River Valley Time Bank, I was inspired and curious. And so I appreciate you coming on to Buzz for Good and sharing about what this thing is. So because you are an original community advisor, kind of talk us through how this time bank came into being.
So the time bank in the New River Valley falls under a nonprofit called NRV Home. There have been several things in there. One of the goals of NRV Home is to improve the quality of life and the ability for the older citizens in the region to live as long as possible in their own homes. Mm-hmm. It's very hard to find elder care and those kinds of things in a rural setting. And oftentimes people have to leave their homes to go to a nursing home or something else because they can't afford the upkeep of their home. Maybe they're on a fixed income, or they've become disabled in some way and can't do certain things. A time bank allows those same people in their younger years maybe to bank time dollars or time credits and spend them later, or even come into the time bank in an elder stage of life and contribute value back to the community and earn time credits that they can get help for things like fixing heating system, which happened not too long ago in Pulaski for somebody who was really just didn't have the funds to fix that sort of problem. But for a few time credits, it all got done.
Well, and I'm looking at the website, which is nrv.timebanks.org. And it's not just like home fix-it stuff. I mean, people can use time credits to create, I'm saying, quilt blocks, or create a LinkedIn profile, silver jewelry or flatware cleaning, photo scanning, editing help, foggy headlights made clear, small appliance repair, a sunset hike at Bald Knob. One that you were telling me about recently was there's a gentleman in the New River Valley who is a Scotch whiskey aficionado. And one of his I guess, time bank opportunities was offering a tasting to people who wanted to come and learn more about Scotch whiskey. I mean, it's
Oh yeah.
fascinating stuff.
Yeah, the it runs the gamut. So every time we gather and do an orientation for new members or have a social, we do an activity where we ask everybody, with post-it notes or whatever, to write down one thing they might offer in the time bank and one thing they might request. Now, it's always, self-selected people joining the time bank. And the first thing most people say is, you know, gosh, I have nothing to give. Or they're like, oh, I just want to help people. I don't have anything I could request. Right. And so it's interesting when you nudge them a little bit. So the Dan Crowder, one of our first staff members years ago in 2016, 2017, he had this way of saying how you might make a request. He says, look at that to-do list you have, and all the way down at the bottom, those things you never get to, put those in the time bank. I
Mm.
did that exercise at home, and I can tell you multiple chores got done, such as, old paint in the basement in the garage that needed to go be picked up and taken to the dump during on the hazardous waste day where you had to have an appointment, and it just wasn't happening. And I thought, I'll just put it in the time bank. It's not going to happen. Boom, somebody calls, he comes with his pickup, it's full of stuff he's taking, he's flipping a rental property, and off it goes. The other day, I took all the electronics that I've been saving my home, thinking maybe someday, somehow I can fix them. Maybe I don't want to throw them in the trash. Took them to an engineer in the time bank and said, if you can fix any of this, great. If you can't, then I know it should go in the trash. Boom. 90% of it came back fixed. Some of it was 10 years old sitting in my house,
Wow.
right? Just incredible, amazing amount of wealth of talent and expertise all in one place. It's incredible.
Yeah, and the cool thing about it, you were telling me, is like, it's not as though the electrical engineer is valued more in this time bank system than, say, somebody who is going to lead a sunset hike at Bald Knob. It's
That's right.
however many hours is how many hours you get doing the other thing.
Yeah, the joke that I like to tell during orientations is my husband's an economist, and he absolutely does not get this. To me, it's simple math. One equals one. To
Yeah.
him, that's impossible. One
Hmm.
hour of chainsaw work or electrical work can't possibly equal 1 hour of weeding. It makes no sense. And I was like, one equals one. That seems
Yeah.
pretty straightforward to me.
Yeah.
But that is one of the core principles of time making is equality and valuing all work equally,
Hmm.
and mutual respect. And it goes back to many core principles of very ancient communities and societies, but it's this idea of mutual aid,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Helping each other out with an expectation that that others will be there for you when you need similar help, right?
Yes, I mean there is and once again, joined here on Buzz for Good by Lisa Garcia, who is working with the New River Valley Time Bank as a community developer. She was one of the original community advisors of the Time Bank, and the Time Bank, this novel concept, but also, I mean, it's kind of like what happens often in, I'd say, more rural communities, but where neighbors helping neighbors, but instead of like I'm helping my next door neighbor uh, you know, rake leaves in his yard, and maybe one day he'll do the same for me. It's you're able to bank that credit for helping somebody do something to receive in return maybe something that somebody else in this time bank has to offer. And so I see right now you've got 178 members uh,
We do.
on the website. But that's incredible growth, and so many different opportunities that are offered there.
Yeah, yeah. Time banking as the model that we're embracing here was actually created by a man named Edgar Kahn, who was a lawyer, and he and his wife created this after he had a massive heart attack and was,
Hmm.
a little bit older, and he thought, I don't like feeling useless without value. And he came up with this concept now there are thousands of time banks around the world. There are more than 500 in the United States alone. 37 other countries have time banks. Excuse me. And, it is something that is a vehicle of community strengthening and resilience that makes sense to, a thread of the community that really shows up for each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kind of get back in and tell us how we got to where we are now. You said so like in 2016 is when the time bank
Sure.
concept
So
of New River Valley took off.
yeah, so what happened was NRV Home, among the many things they were trying to do was to increase the quality of life for older citizens. And the time bank concept rose to the top as one of the ways that we could help people that are older age in place, make their homes lifespan friendly, so to speak. And it has done that for some people. Remarkably, what it has also done is we have members as young as 18 and members as old as 90. So it really does connect people across generations, and has become a great connector in that way. So that was the original reason. The reason I was involved was I was part of what is called the NRV Livability Conference. It was held annually. And at the time, I was in the room when they were talking about older. It's the reason I went was they were going to talk about elder care. And I was helping to take care of three older family members. And I wanted to learn more. And I asked a lot of questions. And afterwards, they said, you should be involved in this. So, if you ask a lot of questions in a meeting like that, somebody's
Right.
going to tap you on the shoulder. But to me, it made a lot of sense. And I'm very, very bought into the model because I've seen it work.
Mm-hmm.
It's just incredible. And it's growing. Our time bank is growing in collaborations. So keep in mind that thread of working with older people in the community and increasing their extending their finances in a way. We are now collaborating with the Virginia Tech Lifelong Learning Institute to put in their course schedule. If you're not familiar with LLI, all the members are 50 years or older. A lot of intellect and skill sets there. And it's all run by volunteers. And they host multiple courses on a variety of topics and skills. So the Time Bank has been asked to create and execute a course on home maintenance and repair. So we're collaborating with LLI to do that, which will reach a whole nother group of folks. We're also collaborating with some folks internationally to do a couple of new things too. So a lot going on.
Fabulous. So to again kind of illustrate how this might work, here I am. I want to join this time bank. And I am going to offer, let's say, an hour podcast session with somebody out there who wants to create maybe a pilot episode of a podcast. And it takes me an hour to produce that podcast. I now have an hour in the time bank that I can cash in, or I guess not cash in, but I use to receive an hour of one of the many different services that are offered through the time bank. So it doesn't have to necessarily be a direct exchange with that person who I'm helping. It could be any of the other 170 plus members in the time bank and the things that they are doing.
That's right. Absolutely. So you can search the time bank software and see what's offered and spin it. Or if you have a specific need, you can search by keyword. We had an issue, somebody had a plumbing issue recently. You can search plumbing and find everybody that's listed in their bio that they know something about plumbing, and you can reach out directly to them. They may not be offering that, but a direct ask will, again, oftentimes yield some help around something. So we had that happen recently. Somebody had water coming in their basement, and the person that responded said, yeah, I can't come over there right now. Do you have FaceTime? And she said, I do. And, she walked them virtually around the basement, and she learned what water shutoff valves were. New homeowner, had no idea. She learned about that. She learned what to do next. She had to hire a professional to fix it because it was a major septic tank pipe issue. but she couldn't figure out where to start, and the Time Bank helped her figure that out.
All right, we're going to take just a moment from my conversation with Lisa Garcia to again thank our sponsors, Roanoke Cultural Endowment, Friendship Retirement Community, Partners in Financial Planning, First Bank and Trust, and another quick note from one of the sponsors of the Shamrock Hill Run, Link Orthodontics.
Hi, I'm Dr. Misty Link, a dedicated Roanoke Catholic mom and Roanoke Valley orthodontist, and a proud sponsor of the Shamrock Hill Run. Get a lucky start to your St. Patrick's Day weekend with our 5K and 1 mile race on Saturday, March 16th at 9 a.m. Just $20 to register by March 4th, $25 after. Register at roanokecatholic.com/shamrockhill.
All right, and welcome back to Buzz for Good, joined here and learning about time and time banking from Lisa Garcia, who is an original community advisor and a current community developer part-time employee for the New River Valley Time Bank in the New River Valley of Virginia. And Lisa, we've been talking about the value of time and time banking and how this whole organization works. What has been the most, you mentioned at the start of this, kind of the coolest thing that you've seen happen as far as, somebody had a tree fall across the driveway, couldn't get out, put a call out on the Time Bank, and somebody shows up and chops it up and good to go. And they didn't have to pay anything for it because the person who chopped up the tree ended up being able to get some credits in the Time Bank to be able to use that time, for some other service. What's been the coolest exchange you've seen of somebody who offered something and then got something completely different in return?
Completely. Oh, you mean?
Yeah,
they earn credits and then they spend them somewhere else?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Just, do you know is there a particular story there of someone who, let's say like the person who chopped up the tree, did he or she end up then getting, like a lesson in how to, create pottery or create a LinkedIn profile, something like that?
Yeah, so there's so many stories, and honestly, because I've been, again, with the Time Bank for a long time, the ones that come to mind are the ones that I've experienced personally. Sure. Mm-hmm. So I'll speak to that. I have earned pretty much most of my time credits, and again, I have 50 right now, 52. I earned those doing things to help the Time Bank. So I've created marketing pieces, I've done social media work, I've served on the advisory committee, all of these different things to help the organization, the nonprofit. I have spent those with time bankers, and here are some of the things that we've benefited from in our family. My husband and I got a private lesson from a expert in the region in beekeeping. Ooh. So we went to we got to suit up and, see the bees and learn about what it is. I thought, and I think he thought too that we might want to be beekeepers. What I learned was their livestock. It would be like having, a whole farm to have bees. They need a lot of attention. I have a lot more respect for why honey costs so much now. We had retired electrical engineers come to our house and change out. As part of a remodel, we were trying to save money so we could pay for college bills. We had time bankers come to our home and help us design, figure out, and do some electrical work related to a remodel. You've been to my home, Michael, you've seen it. That was that whole side of the den and the kitchen. That was in part done by time bankers. Wow. And help. The funniest story I have from our house that you may appreciate, we have 2 children. We have a stairwell going into the basement, and there's a light, over the stairwell, and there's no way to reach it. It went out, and it had been out forever. We've been in that house 20 years. And I was like, maybe a time banker can figure out how the heck do we change this light bulb? So I went online and
literally, how many people does it take to change a light bulb? And Lisa,
how many time bankers does it? So it's more than one. Okay. So I went online and I found there's a ladder that you can get that sits on steps, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's what I need. I need one of those ladders so I can reach that light bulb. So I took a picture of it. You can upload in your requests in the software, any sort of image or photograph. And so I took that picture, and I was like, does anybody have this kind of ladder? May I borrow it? 3 people had that ladder. and
Wow.
offered immediately. You're welcome to, and they could either deliver it and, get drive time and delivery time and time credits, or I could go pick it up. So I contacted one of those guys. I went and picked up the ladder and I thought, I'm still not so sure I want to be the one on the ladder.
Right.
I put it out again on the time bank. And how many time bankers does it take to change a light bulb? Um, and and another person came, used the ladder, changed the light bulb. His name's Carl, and that was fantastic. Now, I don't know if you know this, if this happens in your family, but if the power goes out or lights out, every time you go past that light switch, you still flick it. It's
Oh,
like
sure.
muscle, right?
Right.
And the light still doesn't come on. We all do that. So our son was going downstairs one day after years. He's lived in this house since he was 2. And he flips that switch and the light comes on. He's like, Mom, there's a light in the stairwell. And I was like, oh yeah, there is. Right. And that was, gosh, that same light bulb is still on.
Hmm.
And that guy has moved away. And I'm thinking, what happens when it goes out again? Right. But I rest assured that some time bankers will help us change the light bulb again someday. But there's that what's at the bottom of your list. So we are the second owners of this home. There's a breaker box in every home,
Hmm.
and the switches turn off certain parts of the electrical outlets and things to a certain part of the house. So if you're working on something, you kind of have to understand which breakers are for which parts of the house. Our breaker box was labeled, and it's like, this switch is Michael's bedroom. This one is Luann's, study. None of it made any real sense. So I was on my long to-do list was to map the breaker box. So Carl came over and we mapped the entire breaker box. So now when I do electrical work at the house, I know which switches to flip, right? But if I'd had and he's an engineer, extremely talented. He's the kind of person that in his spare time built exact replicas of Kit Car from Knight Rider and sold those for thousands of dollars. These are amazing, brilliant human beings,
Yeah.
all of them, every single one of them.
Right.
My husband's backpack ripped and broke, and he wanted a new one just like it, and they didn't have it anymore, and he wouldn't give it up. So I put it out to the time bank, and somebody, could fix the zipper, and now he's got his backpack back. It's just a multitude of things that can happen.
Yeah.
And back to the gentleman who offered an appreciation of a fine single malt Scotch whiskey. He and his buddies, they're called themselves Scotch hunters, have now tasted, reviewed, and have expertise with more than 600 different
Wow.
single Scotch
Ooh.
single malt Scotch whiskeys. And our goal is before the end of the year to host another tasting. We've done 2 at our home, and I'll see people on the street that were at those years ago, and they're like, when are we doing the next one? That was so
Yeah.
much fun.
Yeah.
And
I want in on that.
yeah, and he doesn't just know a little bit. He used to teach. And so he comes with a whole presentation. He can answer questions. People are tasting, they learn why and how that, those ingredients were distilled in that manner and why the flavor profile is what it is.
Hmm.
Uh, it's just been an incredible learning opportunity, an incredible way to save money, to do things that are climate friendly, not put things in the landfill.
Hmm.
Uh,
And
just
again, each of those things, the value of them is essentially the same. It's, if it takes an hour to lead a Scotch whiskey tasting for someone, it's the same as an hour it takes to completely rewire all of your electrical outlets in your house, or to
right.
sew the backpack, or to chop up the tree in the yard. And so it's not
Yeah.
like one is valued more than the other. It's if it takes an hour to do this, then you get an hour to be able to do this other thing, which is fascinating.
Yeah. And I think that's a thing that for a lot of people, I work with a lot of businesses and entrepreneurs, and that's been my professional space for a number of years. And um, that is a very profit-minded,
Yeah.
value-centric space where you're saying, here's the value proposition of the product or service that I'm selling, and it is worth this many dollars, right? But in
Hmm.
this space, this alternative economy, 1 hour of service equals 1 hour of service, no matter what those things are.
Yeah.
which just is a fantastic democratization. And for me, my thread back to the startup community is a lot of those people are bootstrapping their personal lives in order to bootstrap their business, which means they're doing everything as lean as possible,
Yeah.
right? I know entrepreneurs in the region that are doing fairly well now that couch surfed for a number of years,
Hmm.
slept on people's couches in order to be able to live somewhere while they were starting their businesses. The time bank is another way to bootstrap your personal life as you're investing your dollars, your actual currency in other places and spaces, right?
Yeah. Beautifully put. Beautifully put. Again, joined here on Buzz for Good by Lisa Garcia, an original community advisor of the New River Valley Time Bank, and currently a part-time employee and community developer and more. And I encourage everyone, go check out nrv.timebanks, that's plural, .org, and see all the different things that are part of this time bank. It's fascinating. And I know we've talked about, as far as some of the inspiration for this, for people wanting to be part of it, is maybe to save money, right?
Sure.
But it's not really totally. But the heart of this is not about saving money.
And no, I don't think so at all. It's really it's it's human connection
Yeah.
in a way that, again, for these people that are self-selecting to be a part of this, it's human connection around things that people are good at and they enjoy doing. We have many, many people that sew in the time bank, and they've loved sewing for a long time, and they make beautiful art and quilts and clothes. And, that is a gift and a skill that I do not have.
Mhm.
Um, so it's just wonderful to be connected to people that can help others with projects like that. The other thing that we do, we have nonprofit members of the Time Bank, a very limited number. I can explain why, but we have 3 or 4 right now. One of those is Habitat for Humanity. We're very closely affiliated with them in 2 ways. One is with Habitat for Humanity at their Restore in Christiansburg, Virginia, we host what's called repair cafes. So our time bankers and some other volunteers set up stations inside the
Mhm.
store around different things that can be repaired. And anybody in the community is welcome to bring up to 3 items to be repaired to the repair cafe. We'll have a date for the next one very soon. But that collaboration is another, again, people who enjoy doing a certain thing. The guy that fixed all my electronics, I met him at a repair cafe,
Okay.
and he learned about the time bank. He joined the time bank,
Hmm.
but he's an engineer, and he was at a table where there are 3 or 4 different engineers from another group we work with called Hacksburg. And it was like, bring small appliances, they'll fix them right there, right?
Yeah.
People bring in broken coffee makers or blenders and mixers. I saw all sorts of things, and they left with them repaired, right? We have a whole station at the repair cafe of people that sew. And so you have 6 to 8 sewing machines going, and then people are bringing in, I saw pillows and blankets and dresses. Somebody brought in a shirt that they wanted the sleeves cut off and hemmed, just all sorts of things. And they bring it in and they leave with it repaired. We have Josh Wimmer does a tool sharpening, knife sharpening
Hmm.
station, and sparks are flying over there.
Yeah.
People bring in all sorts of tools and knives. And one woman who brought in some things told us that she had done the same thing, taken knives to a professional sharpener business in town as part of a business. What she got done at the repair cafe that day in about 20 minutes, she paid to have done not too long before that, maybe a year, for $150.
Hmm.
Right? What else do we have? We had jewelry repair in there. Um, just a couple of other kinds of things. So that's another thing, collaboration we have. We just started.
And I guess it's limited though, because that I could see that perhaps opening up with people like, well, I volunteer at this organization, therefore I should get credit in the time bank.
Well,
Even
yeah,
though-
that's right. So what we don't want the time bank to become is a conduit to manage volunteers for a lot of nonprofits.
Right.
Because if somebody wants to volunteer for a nonprofit, as you and I know,
Great.
there are thousands of ways to do that, right?
Yeah.
So that's not the main purpose of the Time Bank. But we do have a couple of nonprofit members that the leadership, kind of vets and approves as being aligned in some way with what we're doing. So obviously Habitat Restore and Habitat for Humanity and the Repair Cafe fits. And so if you're a time banker and you volunteered that day, you get time credits in the time bank for doing that.
Right.
So
in return, I mean, does Habitat for Humanity or do these nonprofits then provide some
they provide us space, right? In that case, they're providing us space. So yes, there is some reciprocity in the
time banking world. Yeah, in the relationship. Okay.
In that relationship, in the nonprofit. So there's some sort of give and take. So another new collaboration, NRV Home is our parent nonprofit. And like I said, the Time Bank is under that, but they have several efforts. One of those is Millstone Kitchen, which is, you may be familiar with that, out on Price's Fork Road. And
for the listeners who don't know about Millstone Kitchen, what is it?
Yeah, so it is one aspect of what happened in a huge monster effort to repurpose Price's Fork Elementary School. And as part of that space, there's now apartments that I believe are for older citizens. I don't know a whole lot about that, but places and spaces that used to be classrooms are now apartments.
Right.
There is a Millstone Kitchen, which was originally launched as, and still is, but it was pre-pandemic, and then pandemic kind of shut it down, but it's back. But it was originally the brainchild of the group in terms of being a shared cooperative space for entrepreneurs in food, right? So maybe you want to have a food truck, but you need a commercial kitchen. Commercial kitchen equipment and space is very expensive all on your own.
Right.
So you can rent time, and they have members. I'm always looking for ways to bring time bankers together in person so they can kind of get to know each other a little bit. And so now I've met Michael. He posts an offer request, and I was like, oh, I met him at the potluck. I'll answer this, right? Just a little bit. So since we're under the same nonprofit, I asked Ellen Stewart, who has been the lead from the town of Blacksburg staff for the Time Bank since its creation. There would be no Time Bank without Ellen. I said, hey, Ellen, do you think we could do a cooking demo, have a time banker do a cooking demo at Millstone, since they're under the same nonprofit? And, that'd be a way for some time bankers to meet each other, right? And she said, well, let's ask. And we asked and pitched, and they're like, we want to be a nonprofit member. This is such a good fit for us. And yes, you can do that. And we have times that the kitchen's not being used, right? So we just set up this connection and collaboration. And so next is find time bankers, and we have many that offer cooking, baking lessons and servants. We just had a woman in the Time Bank deliver homemade bread to her home. All we did was pay for the ingredients. You do exchange cash if there's some raw materials needed.
Okay.
But for a few dollars, I had home baked bread delivered to my house. It was fabulous. So somebody like that can do a cooking demo, and then at Millstone in a commercial kitchen, and Millstone gets that exposure. We get use of the space, and Millstone is allowed to post in the Time Bank when they have, maybe a minor repair they need to have.
Nice.
Or they do a thing that they started during the pandemic where they do meals for the community, and just kind of like Micah's backpack, where you need volunteers to fill the backpacks for students in the schools, who whole nother nonprofit that's fabulous. They need multiple hands to make those meals, to box the meals. And, so that's where that collaboration, but it fits with what we're doing. And again, they're under the same nonprofit umbrella that we are. They're under one, they're part of what's called live, work, eat, grow.
Lovely, lovely. Well, again, here on Buzz for Good, joined by Lisa Garcia, who with the New River Valley Time Bank, nrv.timebanks.org, talking about this just kind of an old concept of neighbors helping neighbors, but kind of with a new contemporary spin where it's not only neighbors help, but you may not know who your neighbor is, but you
Yeah.
get to opportunity to meet someone through a service that you find intriguing or that you need in this time bank. And go take a look at their website, nrv.timebanks.org, to see all the different ways that people are helping each other in this. And again, earlier we were talking about kind of, maybe there's the need to save or the desire to save money, which is kind of maybe one inspiration to get part of this, but it's really about human connection. And before we started recording here, you were sharing about, the heat wave that hit Europe 15 so years ago, and so many people who died were people who lived alone. And how does that then kind of inform what you're doing here?
Yeah, so the human connection factor is a driving force for me in particular, and many, many other people involved with time banking. We believe that the strength of the community is, and the way we're going to overcome all the many, many challenges the world is facing, is human connectedness. So we know that politics in the United States and abroad is polarizing. People are literally dying here and other places because of political differences. One of the people that came to my house, we have an orientation to become a member of the time bank. And one of the things we ask is that you do not use the time in the time bank to share your political beliefs or, religious beliefs or, try to push those things on people. That's not the space to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I only found out recently that one of the people that did many things at our house and that I called recently to help with something else, we have polar opposite political beliefs. I mean, really astounding to me. It never comes up. Like that's not part of it, but we are
So nice.
connected. I consider him a friend. I trust him. But we're voting different at the polls.
Yeah.
Great guy, brilliant, brilliant guy. So, and I think probably he, a little ego here. I probably think he thinks I'm okay too, right? And I don't think he cares about my politics, so to speak.
Yeah.
So we're always looking for ways to create and hold space where people can connect as just people that might enjoy homemade bread or a potluck, something very simple. So I saw a story in one of the
which
newsletters.
is so needed these days, so needed because we tend to self-select the groups we want to associate with now, whether it's through church or school or even neighborhood,
Or politics.
politics or work. I mean, so that
Yep.
what news sources we tune into. And so
Yeah.
this seems a little more where those questions aren't asked at the beginning for entry. You don't really know where the people are. So this common space is so critical. So I'm sorry.
Yeah. And so we're always looking for ways to add an exclamation point to that aspect, or at least I am. We get a newsletter that's called Community Weavers. And you, Michael, I told you you're a community weaver and have been for decades, but it's people and organizations that are going out there and doing things to weave the fabric of the community and really make it stronger and more resilient. So I read this story about this thing called camarados. And a camarado, by definition in this group, is somebody that's between a stranger and a friend. So it's not a stranger, but it's not a friend. It's just somebody you've met and maybe shared a moment with. So the gentleman who started Camarados is in the United Kingdom. And the basic premise is public living rooms. So this is setting up a space where people can sit down, share a spot of tea, a biscuit, the United Kingdom, right? And just share time. There are no referrals to services, like if you're homeless or something. Nobody's sitting there telling you you're broken. There's no fixing anybody, and there's just a place to sit and relax, play a board game, have a snack, and that's it. So I was reading this. I set up a call with them. There are only 2 of these in the United States. The rest are in the United Kingdom. And it's about the fact that it's the woman I talked to, and she's like, we're all a bit rubbish sometimes, so it's okay to be a little bit of rubbish, and we're all okay, and we share this space. And so the New River Valley is going to be the third site in the United States of America for public living rooms and camarados. They will, for free, send you a kit, that has a teapot and some a banner and all of the things to start your public living room. And we're super excited about this because what's going to happen? This is a place where people can sit and meet each other, no agenda, hold that space for equal and just connectedness that maybe would not happen otherwise, right? It might not happen otherwise. So we're super excited about that. I've got a little tracking, not app, but I'm tracking right now the package heading over the pond.
Yep.
That's right now. But when it lands, we're going to do our first public living room with some time bankers, and then we're going to do pop-up ones. And then, and here's the thing about this that I think, Michael, you might, and your listeners might find really fascinating, because somebody might go, oh, that's good for mental health. Okay, but that's not the goal of it. So here's an interesting thing. They have public living rooms at some hospitals in the United Kingdom. And some of them are inside the hospital, some are outside in a tent, but it's got fairy lights and a couch and maybe some bean bags and a teapot and some biscuits or whatever. They had one at a hospital for weeks and weeks, and they can, through a little sensor, they can just see how many feet are crossing the threshold. They don't take any metrics, they're not polling or surveying anybody there, but they could tell. And during Mental Health Awareness Week, the hospital put a sign up there that said, welcome to the Camarado, the public living room, for celebrating Mental Health Awareness Week. Their numbers of people that used the public living room plummeted by 40%. Think about that. What happened?
Kind of got stigmatized. Yeah.
Come here. You're broken. We'll fix you.
Yeah.
You've got mental health issues. You're at a hospital. I've spent a lot of time in hospitals, right? Maybe somebody doesn't want to be fixed. Maybe they don't need to be fixed, but maybe they do want to just sit down and have a cup of tea and play Connect Four, right?
Yeah.
I just thought that was fascinating that, words, you're a writer, words matter. The lexicon we use to name things matters, right? So the time bank is space being held for people that have skills and services, and we believe everybody has skills and services that bring value to the community, and it's a place where they get to connect and bank time credits and spend time credits around skills and services that everybody can value equally, 1-to-1. 1 equals 1.
Bravo. Well, we've been talking for close to an hour now. And I wish I was a member of the Time Bank, because I might try to then cash that hour in for a whiskey tasting, or to get some yard work done at my house, or some bread. But this has been fabulous. So Lisa Garcia with the New River Valley Time Bank. Go check them out at nrv.timebanks.org and see either how, if you're in the New River Valley of Virginia, how you can be part of it, or maybe this is an inspiration for you to create your own time bank in your community, because it's all about helping neighbors. And so this is a great way for you to help neighbors in your neck of the woods, even the neighbors you don't even know yet. So Lisa, thank you so much for coming on to Buzz for Good and sharing all about the New River Valley Time Bank.
A pleasure and a privilege. Thank you, Michael.
Many thanks again to Lisa Garcia for coming on to Buzz for Good, and we hope to start producing in the coming weeks a new episode of our TV show Buzz, starring the New River Valley Time Bank. So stay tuned to our social media and website for more info. Speaking of new episodes of Buzz, our newest TV show starring Salem Area Ecumenical Ministries airs later this month on Blue Ridge PBS. And we are hosting a free sneak peek watch party on March the 14th at the Grandin Theater. It's open to the public. Just go to our website, buzzforgood.com. That's BUZZ 4good.com. Click on events and sign up. To conclude today's show, I want to play a few minutes from that episode. The first voice you hear is Trula Byington, who manages one of the ministry's signature programs, Mrs. Dorsey's Clothes Closet, which provides free clothing and household items for hundreds of families in need each year. Following her is a representative from the Bradley Free Clinic, who regularly brings clients to the Clothes Closet, such as Dontonio Mitchell, whose story of incarceration and hope is one you will not want to miss.
Many people ask who comes to the Clothes Closet, who do we serve, what's our purpose here. The Clothes Closet's been in existence for over 40 years, and the needs change constantly as society changes, I guess. We serve the mother who could not start her children in school on the first day of school because they had no shoes. We serve the families whose homes have burned and they've lost everything. We serve an elderly man recently who needed sanitary supplies for his wife who was terminally ill, and they could not afford to buy the supplies. We serve the young couple who came in with a 5-day-old baby wrapped in a towel because they had no baby clothes or diapers. We serve a 78-year-old lady in the last few days who became faint because she had not had food for 3 days. We serve countless individuals from other countries. Many other countries are represented here, and they come with varying needs, often clothing, needing housewares, and so forth. We have served over 1,500 people since November by giving them a winter coat and still distributing coats. We have just helped a young man who was sleeping in a shed for several days without clothing or adequate food. We also provide many items like wheelchairs, crutches, all sorts of supplies for people who have had illnesses and so forth and cannot afford to go out and buy those things. We provide hygiene items for people who need them. This is a common occurrence. One of our big areas is in helping people who are trying to find a job and they just don't have clothing to wear to their interviews. This happens very often as well. It's hard to define on a daily basis who's going to come in the door and what the need might be. We serve many day treatment programs. They bring in individuals from the whole Roanoke Valley who are in need. So I guess the bottom line would be, who does the Clothes Closet serve? We serve everybody that walks in the door and need help.
So my name is Brian Bailey. I work with the Bradley Free Clinic, and I'm a community health worker there. And what we do is we surround ourselves around the social determinants of health. So that includes clothing. It includes anything from IDs, vital records, food access, and just any other kind of community resource. So this clothing closet's been really pinnacle in helping us get some of those needs met for our patients. So we really appreciate this place.
Tell me about the Bradley Free Clinic and the types of people you serve.
Yeah, so the Bradley Free Clinic is a free clinic open for people who are uninsured or who may have Medicaid or are underinsured. So we serve a large population here in the Valley, and anything surrounding health. So I like to focus on the social determinants of health before getting to the health part, because a lot of people don't really care about their health until they get some of their basic needs met, like clothing. So, yeah.
And so you've got a group here today?
Yeah, I got a couple guys with me here today. A lot of people I work with are from the re-entry population, so maybe just getting released from prison and they don't have just necessary things to get them on the right path. So this is a really good first step to kind of get them feeling good about getting back into society, maybe looking for job interviews and things like that. So.
My name is Dontonio Mitchell. I'm currently in Roanoke, Virginia at a halfway house. I'm from Petersburg, Virginia. I just recently got out of the penitentiary for doing 2 years for eluding police. I come here today looking for clothes because I came home with nothing. My mom's dead, my grandma's dead. I don't have too much family left, so I had nothing coming out with no assistance or help. And I come to this place I didn't actually get the name of the place today. I just came in and they started helping me, so that's even better. That's even an up. And when I came in, they welcomed me with open and warming arms, and I'm really thankful for them today.
It's my understanding that you're coming shop for some clothes for a job interview.
Yes, I needed some clothes for a job interview. I actually got on Indeed and lucked up with 2 job interviews this week and didn't have no job interview clothes, so I'll be able to go to my job interview happy today.
So look good, feel good, present good.
Yeah.
Right, is that the idea?
Yeah, I feel great, and I feel like I'll be looking good once I put these clothes on today.
How would you have been able to get interview clothes without this place?
Well, without this place, the place I'm at would offer me to go to another thrift store, which would be on Thursday, which would be the days after my interview, or I had to ask fellow people in my household to go to ask to wear some of their things. So I'm really thankful for what they'll be able to share with me today.
Tell me a little bit. I'm sorry, I couldn't understand. You just got 2 years for serving doing what?
Eluded police. I ran from the police on a traffic stop.
Gotcha. Got it. And when did you get out?
I got out February 13th, 2024.
So real recent.
Just recently, just 2 weeks ago.
Okay. But you got a couple job interviews already.
Yes, I do.
Well done. And you're living in a halfway house right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And you're working, or you're here with Bradley Free Clinic?
Yes, Bradley Free Clinic has helped me out a lot. Guy Brian, he's really been thankful for me. I'm thankful to meet him. He's been one of the best people to give me the most assistance since I've been home.
How'd you land in Roanoke when you're from Petersburg?
Well, that's a tricky question. I tried to get to Richmond halfway house, which they didn't have any beds available. So it was a halfway house in Roanoke. They had one available on my release date, so I took that and they accepted me, and now I'm here.
Did you know anybody in Roanoke?
Not at all, not one person.
But at least, but there are these people here who are willing to help.
Yeah, there's people here that's willing to help, and it's actually a different, what I would say, breed of people from where I come from. You know, it's more fast-paced, and it's more not slow-paced, but more a loving pace as you go. So, and I'm really enjoying it right now. I'm pretty much thinking I will be staying.
I mean, I wish you all the luck with the job interview.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know you'll be looking good.
Thank you.
I would imagine. I mean, a lot of people, they get out of prison and they're bitter, or they're angry. But you really seem upbeat, positive, hopeful.
Well, I mean, I'm hopeful just to be in the free world, because things could be worse, you know. I also had some other things that happened to me in my life that's really changed, but I'm hopeful to be here because I got a lot of friends and loved ones that's gone, and they can't be here to live another good day. So I'm hopeful to be here no matter what the struggle is, and I'm very happy for that.
And you know, rather than dwelling on your past, like you're looking ahead.
I'm definitely looking ahead. I'm looking to accomplish a lot of goals, and there's no looking back right now.
What are some of those goals?
I'm trying to start my own business as in a restaurant franchise, and maintain a positive vibe and give back to the people that helped me, or give back to the people that need help. So those are some of my 5 to 10 year goals.
So I'm a job interviewer.
Okay.
All right. And that's obviously I know about your past, but what do you want me to know about you that would maybe want to invest in you?
I'm a very productive person when it comes to working. I strive for the best ability of my ability to do the job. I'm very oriented with people. I'm very nice, and I understand people in all different ranges, from ethics and ages to I can understand people coming from the bottom or people that's up to the top. You know, I've seen it all coming from my age of being 35 years old today. So I'm very positive in my working environment, and I'm willing to learn anything I don't know.
And you're gonna be looking good.
I'm definitely gonna be looking good.
Good luck, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good luck.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Well, I am pleased to report that D'Antonio ended up getting the job, thanks in part to Salem Area Ecumenical Ministries. And we hope to see you at our watch party featuring this impactful organization on March the 14th at the Grandin Theater. Visit our website, buzzforgood.com, to learn more. Until then, thank you for tuning in and for continuing to support the nonprofits in your life and being a buzz for good in your community. Bye now.